What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful Monday evening so far. And my name is Anomaly. That's AN0MALY. If you're new to this, like my page here. You can check me out on Twitter, Legendary Energy, at Legendary Energy, and on Instagram at Dream Rare. I'm gonna wait about 5-10 more seconds stall until people get into the live stream, and I'm gonna let you know what's going on with the travel ban and the truth about it, because there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of one-sided argument from both sides. So I'm gonna try to crack through the narrative, and we're on. Thank you guys for joining. So this morning, the Supreme Court reinstated the travel ban. It's been talked about a lot. It's been branded by the mainstream media a Muslim ban, but it's not a Muslim ban. It never was a Muslim ban. It's specifically a temporary travel ban from certain countries. The top multiple Muslim countries are not even on the ban list, so it never was a Muslim ban. That was totally just a branding that the mainstream media gave it because they love to just divide people by race, religion, and gender. So anyway, the countries that are being temporarily banned are Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. And I want to get a real level-headed, unbiased approach to the situation, because there's a lot of extreme leftists who are just lying about it, and they own a lot of the media, and they say everything's racist, everything's xenophobic, and it's simply not true. And then there's a lot of right-wing people who are just very Islamic, and to me, that's not the right answer either. So I'm gonna come through the middle. You can have your opinion, but be kind and share logic, facts, and reality. So these specific countries, they're not the top Muslim countries. They have been infested with war and terrorism. A lot of it is self-inflicted. These countries were fighting. A lot of it is past U.S. politicians. I'll say just U.S. puppets, because a lot of the politicians, I don't think they're truly pulling the war strings, but the intelligence communities and the people really intervening, they have part to do with it. Part of it's been brewing for hundreds of thousands of years. Part of it was internal civil wars. A lot of it would have been a mess even if the U.S. had not intervened. But to be fair, Secretary of State leaders like Hillary Clinton definitely didn't help. Like when she killed Gaddafi and said, "We came, we saw, he died." Took pride in destroying Libya and making it a complete safe haven for terrorism. That definitely had a part to play in it. But anyway, so these countries right now, they're heavy in terrorism. There's wars there. There's bombs being dropped. There's multiple-sided wars that we still don't know the truth about. We have moderate rebels who some people think are actually terror groups. We have multiple different terror groups: ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, and certain wars that are just so many different narratives coming out about it. The American people and people of the world, we still don't even know the truth about the war. So is it a bad idea to temporarily ban people from a place that is literally getting very extreme? And a lot of the people who did attacks in London were radicalized in these areas. They went to Libya or went to Syria, and there's a lot of, breeding grounds for terrorism there. It's just a fact. So to me, it makes sense. It's a common sense move, but my biggest problem with it is the media, of course, and Democratic politicians, Green Party politicians, some progressives, Bernie Sanders, they use it as an opportunity to just virtue signal, to talk about race, xenophobia, religion, not because they want to help you, not because they want Muslims in this country to be safe, not because they want Christians in this country to be safe or atheists in this country to be safe. They do it because it fuels their agenda. So they're going to use it as an attempt to say, oh, everything's anti-religion and anti-sexist, but these people are the lowest of the low. They have no solutions. They don't care about your safety. They don't care about your security. And the irony I find in it is the social justice crowd, or the social justice heroes that I consider myself a part of, because why not? Social justice is good, right? The problem is that a lot of social justice warriors, they will say to me or somebody like me, if I say, hey, the travel ban is actually a good idea, they'll say, you know what, Anomaly? You're a privileged white male. And the irony of that, besides the fact that I'm Puerto Rican, the irony of that is they're so privileged that they don't even know what's going on in the Middle East. They're so privileged, they don't know about the border security, about the police, about the military, who put their lives on the line every single day to keep these people safe, so they can prance around America and call everybody racist, sexist, and xenophobic. these social justice warriors are so privileged to be American, so privileged to live in the state or country that they're from, that they don't even know this stuff exists. They don't know about the wars. They don't know about how many people would just decimate our coastlines if we didn't have a huge navy and a huge military. So the irony is the people that call everybody privileged, they're actually privileged. You're so privileged that you don't even know about a travel ban. You don't even know about Somalia, Libya, Iran, Sudan, Syria, Yemen. You probably think they're names of Kanye West babies. You're like, oh, Syria? Yeah, I heard about her. She's cute. No. It's not Kanye West baby. It's a country that's in a civil war, and a war that we're a part of. So that's an irony to me. You have CNN, they're saying, CNN calls it unexpected. Of course it's unexpected to a lot of the media sources who have been lying about it all the time. This whole culture that we live in right now is unexpected to them because they've been lying about everything. So to the social justice crowd, to the people who just hate Trump and are sick and tired of just being negative and nasty and being lied to by media, I say, welcome to the page. Why not join reality? Because I'll tell you the truth. I'm not going to be too mean. I'm not going to be racist or sexist or xenophobic. I'm just going to get you the raw truth, because you're not going to get it on CNN. You're not going to get it on MSNBC. They keep losing and lying and lying and lying to you. And people will say, well, I thought the travel ban was blocked. Didn't they block it? No, actually, they were lower level judges, a lot of the times directly linked with politicians. The one judge from Hawaii, I believe, you can Google it, check me on it. The judge from Hawaii was a friend of Barack Obama's, went to school with him, I believe, and Obama flew out there, and then he's like, I'm going to block it. On a big scale, it was never a big deal. It was always down to the Supreme Court, but they own the media, so they know exactly what to do. They make something happen. Okay, we're going to tell this judge to block it, even though it's basically irrelevant and it's not going to last. We're going to tell them to block it, and then we're going to use our media sources to blast it out to everybody. Look at this hero, the judge from Hawaii saved the day. Yay, everybody could live free, all sexes, races, religions, and genders, and we'll all party. Except that's not the truth. He had absolutely no power, very little say in the final outcome. Did they ever explain that to you? Did they ever tell that to you? Aren't you sick of being lied to? I mean, I couldn't watch a news source that constantly lied to me, where I'm cheering and celebrating and protesting, but in reality, none of what I'm saying is right, because the travel ban actually makes sense. All of these news sources that are saying this, that, and the other, they're pushing racism and saying they're defending racism. They're pushing sexism and separation and pretending like they're defending unity. It's a whole sloppy mess, and I have to applaud President Trump for being very strong-minded, because even though I did not vote for him and I see the moves he's making, and I'm very, every single day I become more happy that he's the president, because all of the other options are so disgusting, and he's just slicing through the lies of the narrative. Is we're so privileged in America. Border security at the border, we don't care about it. You know, travel bans, we don't care about it because we're so privileged that we don't even know what else is going on. But the past politicians and all these people that sounded beautiful on CNN, they sounded like Mother Teresa on MSNBC. You know, they went on Washington Post and New York Times, and oh my God, they're so smart and funny, cool. These politicians were actually fronting for the group who really runs America, and just have been doing nothing of the sort, nothing to help us. So I want to say, I think President Trump, to really wrap it up, I think he's making everybody step their game up. Whether you like him or not, he's making every politician step their game up, and they've never had to step their game up because they've always been just there. They've always ran everything. It's always been just like a little circle of corrupt criminals and liars and people who say, oh yeah, we're going to lie, we're going to talk about this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, we'll do all this other stuff. He's making everybody step their game up. He's making the mainstream media step their game up, who, regardless of what anyone else says, they've been lying for 15 plus years now. I mean, look at all the narratives they're pushing now. Every single thing that happens in the world, they say, it's unexpected. We really didn't think it was going to happen. We didn't see the Supreme Court doing that one. Well, that's because you lied about everything for the past 6 months. You titled it a Muslim ban. You got everybody all worked up. You got everybody all mad. Meanwhile, the biggest Muslim countries were never even on it. You never told the truth about the war. So everybody in the United States, they don't even know about Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. They think they're Kanye West babies. And you keep lying about this ban. You keep using these little judges and being like, oh my God, it's going to block. But that's not reality. And that's my whole problem that I even broadcast like this, is because Whether you like somebody or not, whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're progressive, I don't care. I'm none of the sort. But the truth is the truth. It doesn't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. It doesn't care if you consider yourself conservative or progressive. The truth is going to be the truth, regardless if Trump says it, regardless if Bernie Sanders says it, or Hillary Clinton says it. It doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. And the truth is, a lot of these news sources that you think are great because they're catering to your beliefs, to your emotions, to your feelings, they're just not telling the truth. And that's why every single week there's a new, we didn't expect Jeremy Corbyn to come so close. Wow, we didn't expect the travel ban to go through. We didn't expect Trump to win. We didn't expect this. It's because you're lying about everything and nobody believes you anymore, and it just keeps happening. I mean, I don't know how much more obvious it could be. And I want to say to the crowd that is upset about, social justice and, oh my goodness, this is really bad, it's really racist and xenophobic. These countries, the radicalization that's happening in these countries is unlike anything that your privileged life or my privileged life even know anything about, because we've never been there. We don't know what's truly going on. There's been lies from all around. It's specifically for your safety, and that's why the Supreme Court did it. There's attacks happening in London, there's attacks happening in Sweden. People will say, well, people kill people every day. That's true, but just because there's people outside committing crimes, I'm trying to solve those crimes. It doesn't mean I'm going to let 100,000 people into my house that potentially don't like me or have been radicalized by multiple terror groups for years. It just makes absolutely no sense. We need to clean it up. We need to figure out our vetting process, and we need to stop using situations like this to divide everybody, because I agree that President Trump does not do the greatest job to appeal to everybody. He's very blunt. Some people can handle that, some people can't. But the real enemy, in my opinion, is the mainstream media, because they take what he says and they paint it to be something crazy that it never was. Even on the strongest word that he said, what the mainstream media says, if you watch MSNBC or CNN or ABC or, read Washington Post and New York Times and Vox and Politico, you would think we're in the dark ages. You would think that it's a Muslim ban and that it's super xenophobic and that there's no qualities to it that make sense and that it's just completely crazy and he's doing it because he's trying to take over the whole world. And, it's just not the case. It's not at all the case. These countries have been in turmoil. Part of it is the U.S.'s fault. Part of it is their own country's fault. It's just been a mess for a long time. But nobody wants to talk about it. So that's how I feel about that. On a note, I want to say happy Ramadan. I respect Donald Trump's decision to not eat Ramadan dinner because that's not how he feels religiously. But I want to respect Ramadan. I want to wish all the Muslims in the world a happy Ramadan. And I want to say to the crowd that is very critical of Muslims, I'm very fair about the travel ban. I'm very fair about a lot of things. But one thing that I think that we can all take from Ramadan as humanity is fasting and the health, mental and physical properties it has on the human body. You could do some researching on a bunch of different types of fasting. It's very mentally healthy and it's very physically healthy. It's part of a lot of health benefit, tutorials and books and whatnot. So, we don't always have to take out the bad parts and things. I think that we need to protect the peaceful and good Muslims in the world and in our country from the ones that are being radicalized in certain countries. And overall, I do want to say that I think you can't kill an idea. So our approach to stopping radicalization of certain religions and ideologies has to be a full approach where we have to not only condemn, but we have to show the truth. Nothing can be a lie like the truth. So we have to be better ourselves as a country, as people on a daily basis. And I think that will help a lot. As far as this travel ban, just to sum it up, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen, they're being blocked. Just watch how Vox, VOX, Politico, Al Jazeera, MSNBC, CNN, watch what they do to this, because I'm just curious how long they're going to lie to people and push it out to people and say that this is racist and xenophobic and sexist. These news sources and a lot of politicians are going to use this event. I'm going to call it now because it's going to happen. They're going to use this event to scream racism, sexism, xenophobia, anti-religion, anti-hate. And these are the people that are ramping up the division. These are the people that are dividing people and letting no real discussion go on. It's not Donald Trump. It's not what this administration is doing to protect you from things you don't even know exist. It's them. they are truly, I agree with Donald Trump 100%, the enemy of the American people, because instead of telling the truth, instead of holding Trump accountable to things that Trump should be held accountable to, they're creating this entire circus where you can't even have a discussion because they're just pushing fake stories, fake narratives, lying about the travel ban, lying about this, lying about that, and a lot of Americans are getting tired of it. And if you notice, reality keeps setting in, and everything that these news sources say is wrong. So if you want a news source that doesn't lie to you, share this or tag somebody in it, because, I mean, I've been paying attention for the last 10 years really, so I know what's going on. But if you're following certain news sources, you're going to keep being dumbfounded every morning and be like, wow, I can't believe that passed. But the Supreme Court passed the travel ban for now. You could check out, Google what parts of it passed and what it means. But overall, to me, they're going to say that this sets a dangerous tone, but I do not think so whatsoever. I think the dangerous tone is certainly set on their coverage of it, because they'll never tell you to live a good life. They'll never tell you how blessed you are. They'll never tell you that, you know, you could do anything, that this is the land of opportunity, which it is. My grandparents worked in factories, you know, and I'm able to broadcast to the entire world. It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful time to be alive in this country. And I'm sick and tired of the war, mainstream negativity, you know, pessimism media and pessimism politicians lying about everything. Donald Trump honestly is doing a very good job. He's slashing through a lot of the media narratives, and he totally, while to me Bernie Sanders turned in a faker political direction where he just says a bunch of nothing now. He just talks about race, religion, gender, and lies, and protects the mainstream media and protects politicians. You have Donald Trump slicing through the narrative, telling the truth about the deep state, telling the truth about the mainstream media, telling the truth about politicians, and a lot of people can't handle it. News is going to lie about it. I'm going to broadcast probably an hour. I'm going to talk about Bernie Sanders, President Trump, and former President Obama, because there's a lot of controversy going on there. Trump's calling out the Democratic Party and the DNC. Trump's calling out President Obama because there's new revelations in the Russia theory and exactly when they had intel and what happened. And it's not what people thought, and it definitely raises some questions. So I'll be back later today. Please join me probably in an hour or so, maybe less, I don't know, to talk about Bernie, Trump, Obama, and what's really going on. Because if I look at any news source, just to wrap it up, CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, New York Times, Vox, Politico, Twitter News, how Facebook slants it, Apple News, Google News, all of these news sources are so one-sided and slanted. Every time I log into any one of those, if I believed what they were saying, I understand why people don't know the truth, because it's so widespread. They're pushing fear, hate, negativity, misinformation, and it's tiresome. They're not doing anybody of any race, religion, gender, or country a favor by lying to everybody, pushing fear, and leaving people in this negative state of fear where they don't even know the facts. If you're angry and scared, but you at least know the facts, and you're fighting for something, that's one thing. But they have millions of people don't know the facts, they don't know reality, they're being lied to about everything, and they're being literally radicalized, telling people everybody's gonna die, this and that's gonna happen, when it's totally not happening. Trump is not doing a bad job. They're just mad because they're doing a bad job, and they can't figure out why they keep losing. Oh, I'm losing this, I lost the travel ban, I lost it. It's because you suck. Stop sucking so much, just be a little bit better. Very simple to me, but apparently it's going to drag out for the next year or so. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you for joining. Dream Rare on Instagram. I'm going to put my links below if you want to donate and support the movement. If not, your likes, comments, shares, presence here, messages, all of that is beautiful and amazing. That's more than enough support. That's all we need. It's a powerful movement by the people. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you later.